Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Pipeline Podcast, episode 113. Hope everyone is having a fantastic day. I'm your host today, Darren McClymans. I think I already said that, actually. I don't need to say it again. Welcome. Running a solo episode today. How is everybody doing? How are we doing? Jeffrey is in the house. Hello, Jeffrey. How's it going? What's up? Nothing much with me. We're here for episode 13. We are doing, I had someone semi-planned for this week, but it was one of those situations where it's like, okay, they might be here, they might not, and if they're not here, we're going to run it solo anyways, because I do think this could be a really fun one by myself if I choose to do so. We're going to be ranking Disney and Pixar movies. Now, I love Disney. I'm following the channel any length of time, massive fan of that franchise. I don't think you can call Disney a franchise. I think they're more of a studio, but I love what Disney and Pixar offers. I think for some of the greatest stories of all time, through their ups and downs for sure. But no, we're definitely going to have some fun with that later on in the episode, and I'm very excited for that. Again, like how it goes on these solo streams, if there are any comments you want to send my way, because I am, I'm not having the back and forth of someone else here. So I do definitely have more time to answer any questions the chat has to ask me, or any, comments that has to do with our topics of the day. And I'm very excited to hop into today's episode. Jeffrey says, the best Disney movie is The Lion King. Spoiler alert, it might also be my favorite Disney movie, so it might rank rather high on my list today. We will have to wait and see, though. And again, anyone else who pops in, I would love to hear your favorite Disney movie as well. I love The Lion King. So yeah, without further ado, we're going to get into today's episode. And again, any comments or whatever on any of the topics we talk about today, feel free to jump in. So first off, today's news, it's been a massive trailer week. I feel like we get one of these every couple of months, or every couple of months, where there will be just a barrage of new trailers and teasers and things that come out for upcoming movies. I do feel like it is that time of year again, though, where we are kind of starting to prep for 2025, where it's like, these movies release in the first half of the new year, and people kind of wanting to start promoting their movies a little bit. And we're kind of in that era at the moment. So first off, the big one. Let's start with the big one. I already made a separate video on this altogether, and that is How to Train Your Dragon, the live action How to Train Your Dragon adaptation over at DreamWorks. Listen, I already did a whole thing about this, but I am not sure how I feel about this movie. Listen, this is a movie that to me feels... How do I want to say this? I feel like this movie is doing something I'm not a huge fan of, which is seemingly doing this copy and pasted reenactnation, I didn't say that word right, of the original movie, of the original How to Train Your Dragon movie. A movie that I think is one of the greatest films of all time. Genuinely, How to Train Your Dragon 1, How to Train Your Dragon 2, 3 slightly down my list a little bit, but in general, all 3, some of the greatest films of all time. I think they're fantastic. I think they're amazing. I think they're wonderful. And I do think they've kind of put themselves in a little bit of a hole with the How to Train Your Dragon franchise, because they clearly wanted to make more. It's a big success for them. People will get butts in seats no matter what. People love these movies, but they couldn't do a 4th one because of how it ended, and they clearly didn't want to mess up such a legacy ending, because it is such a perfect ending to a franchise. And then they were like, okay, can we expand the universe in any way? But same way, you can't really do too many spin-offs with how it ended. You can't really do too much with the prequels, or it's just a movie about slaughtering dragons. So their next thing was like, okay, let's do a live action one. Let's just do it in live action. Let's just do it again. And I don't know how I feel yet. I guess I maybe need to see a little bit more. Jeffrey said Minecraft was the worst one out of those trailers. I just watched it before jumping on here. I clicked on it I was like, okay, I need to watch it for the stream, just check it out. I'm not a Minecraft head. Like, I didn't grow up with Minecraft too much. I played it a couple times, but I never really watched it too much. Or played it too much, I'm sorry. But it's a weird looking movie, isn't it? Like, I don't know how quite to describe what exactly they're going for. It does kind of remind me of like a Saturday Night Live, like it kind of feels like a parody movie, doesn't it? Like, it kind of feels like a movie that you would like show, like kind of like what that like Dwayne Johnson Bambi bit they did on like Saturday Night Live or whatever it was years ago. And it's like, oh, I'd watch that, like saying that unironically funny, not thinking it's like a real movie, being like, oh yeah, I'd totally watch that. It kind of feels like that, where it's like, it looks kind of fun in some aspects. Like, some of it looks fun and creative, but it also looks so jarring and weird, and like actors so far just from the trailers, it could just be the way it's cut, but like actors who know how to act not acting very well in these trailers, and I was like, what's going on? Like what exactly are they going for? It's weird for sure. Hello, One Marvel fan, how's it going? Hope you're doing well. Jeffrey says, I think How to Train Your Dragon live action looks good, but I don't want it to be copy paste, and so I agree. They made a statement about a year ago when, it was, I don't know if it was a year ago or whatever, but like they were saying how it's totally our own thing. We're doing something kind of special with it. It's going to be separate from the movie, or like the originals of the movies. And I was like, okay, that's what I want to hear. That's what I want. There are books you can adapt. There are ways of changing the story or changing things around to make it a different movie than just the original one again. But if the trailer and the photos we've seen is any indication on what's to come, I'm not super confident there. So we'll have to wait and see what they do. One Marvel fan says, live action Minecraft is such a weird choice. I mean, I'm sure it could work, but it's probably be better in animation. I thought it was for a long time. Every time I heard about the movie happening, I was like, oh, it's an animated movie. No. I think I do agree. It feels like a movie that it kind of feels too late for like a live action Minecraft. Like, I feel like 2023, 2024, I feel like we've been really leaning in to the animated projects for our mainstream franchises that I've really liked. Like, I've liked Ninja Turtles and Garfield and obviously Spider-Man and a couple others that have, coming our way. Mario and a lot of these things that I think they attempted to do in live action many years ago. Now they're like, oh, animation's clearly the best route for this. We're getting Lord of the Rings this year. I think some of these studios are finally realizing, oh, it doesn't always have to be live action. We can make money with an animated movie too. Like, that can do well. I think audiences are leaning into the animated stuff, even if it is still maybe not as popular as live action stuff. Like, I feel like we are getting there with a lot of our stuff, but this feels like a movie like they probably would have tried back in like 2017, 2018, and then everyone hated it, and they were like, well, not doing that again, or whatever. So yeah, we'll see. It feels weird to take a drink when there's no one else here. It's just plain silence. How to Train Your Dragon looks good. Like, I think it's like that's a beautiful trailer. I think everything that's all there, it is good. And like, that's the funny thing about that though, where it's like, yeah, like that trailer looks good, but it's also just a trailer for a movie I've seen. Like, it looks good because I'm watching scenes from a movie I love. You know what I mean? And again, like, Toothless looks beautiful. The dragons looks beautiful. Hearing Stoke's voice again, like, gave me goosebumps again. But yeah, no, I need a full trailer. I need to see it. I'll be there day one for sure, but I'm nervous. Okay, Bad Guys 2, sequel to The Bad Guys, which they got that turned around really quickly. Like, I feel like I was just watching the first Bad Guys. One of the 3 DreamWorks movies that comes out next year. What comes out March? Is that when it comes out? I didn't look at the date before jumping on here. Just watched the trailer for that as well. Looks pretty good. I think it looks pretty good. I'm No, I think it looks good. I really like the first one. I think the first one kind of lives in a category of me like, hey, that was a pretty good movie. It wasn't my favorite thing I've ever seen, but I thought it was a solid animated movie with solid premise. And I think, you know, if going on long enough, you know, DreamWorks likes to franchise their franchises, if you will. Like, they love doing 3s and 4s and 5. I could see Bad Guys being a massive name, you know, to, like, the next generation of kids. Like, I could see Bad Guys being the next Kung Fu Panda or How to Train Your Dragon or Shrek for, you know, my little brother someday or whatever it will be. Like, I could see that being a thing. Very tropey. Like, it's very, like, Despicable Me, where it's like, oh, we are good now, but oh, we don't know if we're going the right path. Things aren't going well for us, even though we're on the good path. And, you know, oh, they get reassigned by the other bad guys, and they have to decide if they want to be good or bad. Like, you know, it's nothing, like, it doesn't look anything, like, new, necessarily. Like, it's a template I've seen before, but honestly, it does look like the same kind of fun, you know, wild adventure that you can kind of expect with a DreamWorks movie and a new Bad Guys movie. I'm excited for it. I think it could be very pleasantly surprising. Like, trailers are giving me, like, the main meat and bones of the movie, and I think that's perfectly fine. I'm excited to see what they do with that. So yeah, I don't have much to say. I want to see. I'll be there for the movie though. Like, I am very excited. All right, then we have Pixar's Elio, which was another teaser for this movie. I'm glad they put something out. I do think it's very important because it's been a while. This was supposed to come out 2023. We saw a trailer back in 2022. Yeah, we saw a trailer and then won't get the movie until like 3 years later. Like, it is crazy what has happened with that movie. A writer's strike just absolutely destroyed it. But no, you know, I think the trailer didn't give us that much more. I think outside of just like just a genuine feel of the movie and kind of like what the vibe is going to be a little bit more and the kind of humor it's going to have. And honestly, I think this one did a little bit more for me. I don't know why exactly. Maybe it's just my current headspace, but I liked this one quite a lot. I thought this was a really fun little teaser. I think the concept of Elio is fantastic. I love the idea of, like, the concept of, like, okay, this, like, 8-year-old child is going to be, like, the ambassador of the entire planet Earth. And, like, I think Pixar usually does a very good job about, like, perspective and, like, the, you know, what can imagination accomplish, right? All the way back to Toy Story and then WALL-E and Incredibles. Like, I think that's really cool. So I think, like, viewing this movie's via the, like, these aliens' whole perspective of Earth being through this, like, little child and how he views life and how he views, you know, the universe, I think is a great idea. Like, to me, I feel like this could be another Pixar classic that we've been kind of craving from them. Like, I feel like we haven't had a lot of, like, we've had some good Pixar, in my opinion. I've liked these last several years. Like, I think, you know, Luca's been great. I think Soul has been great. I think Inside Out 2 has been great. But I feel like I think outside of, like, Soul, maybe Luca, or, like, the two, like, yes, those will become cult classics someday. There hasn't been a lot of, like, oh, yes, this is what we imagine when we represent Pixar. And again, I think just like Bad Guys 2, this could be one of those movies that I think when, in 10 years, when people think about, hey, what is Pixar, Elio could be up there if they nail this right. Like, I think it looks like a lot of fun. I think it looks like a blast. Again, we've seen very little bit of it. I like, you know, it definitely has a template, kind of has that hero's journey template a little bit, where it's like the kid is like, I don't belong here, I belong in the stars, or I belong out there, you know, very Moana, very Hunchback, very Little Mermaid. Like, it's very Disney templated, but I think that's fun. I think it's fun. I'm a fan of that template, so I'm ready to see more of that. I'm ready to see what they have in store. And then we had the Dream Productions trailer. I mean, you know, kind of continuing our Disney Pixar lineup here. Fun. I think Dream Productions looks fun. It looks cute. It looks like a fun little thing. I'm not blown away by... I don't know how I feel. I don't know. I feel like I'm just a little bit bummed out that it is only 4 episodes. I think, like, I'm tired of Disney marketing things as a new series, especially like their animated Disney stuff, where it's like, it's a brand new series that's 4 episodes and 10 minutes each. Like, I feel like they've done that with Baymax and Cars on the Road, and a couple other things at this point, where like, it's a new show, but no, it's not. It's just not a new show. It's a bunch of shorts that they just put together. The stuff on screen looks fun. I am disappointed it's only 4 as well. Yeah, I would like when they announced it was a DreamWorks series, or when it was an Inside Out series, I was like, that's very cool. I'm excited to see what they do with that. So, no, I mean, I think the concept itself is fun. I don't know, why is it a limited series? I don't know. This seems like a concept that could go on a while. Like a dream production team is a great idea. I think sometimes Pixar underutilizes their worlds a little bit, and I feel like that could be the strength. I do think that can be the strength of Disney Plus for them. Is like, we have these gigantic worlds we're building over on the big screen, and then we can use Pixar as a way to further out those universes a little bit. I really loved Monsters at Work. I think they did a lot of fun stuff there. I think the way they continued the lore of that franchise was really cool. I'm excited to see what they do with here. There are so many of these kind of things I feel like you can do with that, where it's like not even tackling the main characters of the story, but like, how do you explore the bigger world that is Disney and Pixar and stuff like that. So I'll watch it. I'm also a little disappointed that it replaced Win and Lose, because I've been waiting for Win and Lose since 2021, 2020, maybe early 2022. Like, we've been waiting for that for a long time now. So I don't know. I'll watch it for sure. Jeffrey says, Big Hero 6 needs a new movie. I'd love a new Big Hero 6. I'd love the heck out of that. I never watched what is it that they put out? They had like a TV. Obviously they had the Baymax shorts on Disney Plus, and then they also had it was like a Big Hero 6 series on like Disney Channel years ago. I never watched the Disney Channel ones. I thought Baymax was cute. It's one, honestly though, like, they look at the next 3 lineups of Disney movies, like currently, where it's like, okay, we have, what is it? Moana 2 is next week, then it's Zootopia 2, and then it's Frozen 3. They're in their sequels eras again. Like, we are right back there in the sequel eras, which, I'm in for it. I'm also, concerned. I think as long as they mix it up, as long as they sprinkle in, like, original stuff in there as well, then I'm okay with that. I'm okay. I just, I wish there was a break in between this cluster of, Toy Story 5 and Frozen 3 and Zootopia 2 and Moana 2. I wish there was sprinkled in a little bit more there. But besides that, I would like a new Big Hero 6. I'd maybe like an Encanto 2 at some point as well. I think that could be fun if they plan it right. Alrighty. Yeah, let me know what your favorite trailer out of these 5 were. We're moving on to our second topic today. Karate Kid Legends will take place 3 years after Cobra Kai. Now, I currently have 2 more episodes of Cobra Kai Part 2. I've done the first 3. I'll probably do episode 4 tomorrow. Or, I'm sorry, not episode 4. What is it? Episode 9 would be tomorrow. I'm excited. So no Cobra Kai spoilers for the final 2. But I did want to talk about this, because I do think this is kind of, at least to me, a pretty big deal. Because this officially confirms. So we've kind of been wishful hoping, or mostly known for a while, that Karate Kid Legends and Cobra Kai are officially canon. Cobra Kai will be canon to the movie universe, which shouldn't have even been in question. That's not something we should have worried about. But I think the way the film industry works sometimes, it is sometimes they try to disassociate itself from the TV stuff, right? We've seen that with, I feel like we've been burned with, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. and, the Netflix stuff and all these things for years. So there was a worry in the back of my mind a little bit. That was when they announced the movie originally, and, we got closer to it and closer to it. We heard that the Cobra Kai writers they came and looked at the script and stuff like that, and various different things, but there was still a worry. We're what if they try to, disconnect the canon? What if they try to separate themselves or change some things that Cobra Kai set in motion? And we can thankfully say officially, no, it is in the timeline. The show will take place 3 years after, the movie will take place 3 years after the show. And I think that's interesting. I'm going to be curious if at all this season, or like the final 7 episodes that I have to watch at least, or like the final 5 episodes of the act of Cobra Kai is going to set it up at all. If they would have had time to do anything to set it up. I do feel like, again, I have 2 episodes left, so maybe I'm in the dark already, but I do feel like we are doing some stuff with Mr. Miyagi and the history of that, and we hear about the rumors of like a Mr. Miyagi prequel series or something. So like I could see some connecting tissues there if they want to connect the gaps a little bit, if they want to do something along those lines. I think it's definitely very possible for them, and I would be open and down to seeing if that's what they do. I'm excited for this move. Probably one of my most anticipated of next year. Cobra Kai Part 2 was so good. I liked it. Yeah, I liked. There was a lot of frustrating stuff for me. I'll say that. I will say that. This season as a whole has had a lot of frustrating things with their characters that have like bugged me the wrong way a little bit. But the action is so good. Like, it's a show where I could be angry at what they're doing, but then not care because they're doing the coolest stuff you've ever seen in your life. Genuinely. Wednesday we're doing a solo stream, or we're doing a part 2, I guess, discussion with our friend Taj, and then later that night along with Superman Lois. So I think that'll be fun. I'm excited to dive into it, finish the season, and kind of see what we're doing. Okay, lastly here, we have some DCU updates over the course of the last several week. Oh, I guess the last couple weeks at this point. So I'm gonna pull up some tweets. I didn't want to make all of them a separate thing, but there was quite a few updates that I did want to go over and talk about, because I do think it is some pretty interesting stuff here. Let me see really quickly. Can I get my... Can we do this? Oh, well, that's fine. That's fine. Oh, that works. Okay. Okay, so first on our list here, Alan Tudyk has been cast as the voice of Clayface in James Gunn's DCU. Now, I think this one is pretty interesting because he voiced, obviously, Alan Tudyk, a legend, an absolute, going in line with our Disney talk today, as we're getting into ranking Disney stuff later. Alan Tudyk, a legend in the Disney space, obviously, like Resident Alien and so many amazing stuff. Legendary voice actor, amazing. Love that dude. Doom Patrol, shout out as well. Love him over there. Love that man. He does a couple voices over on Harley Quinn. And he does the Clayface over on the Harley Quinn show, which haven't caught up in a while, but I think it's a really fun show, and I love his Clayface. I think his Clayface is easily one of the best characters in that show. He has some of the most iconic lines and moments, and, from what he's talked about, he's really talked about how this version, or like these 2 versions of the character, are going to be very different from one another. It does make me happy, because I was going to be curious if he just came in with his like very, very out there Clayface performance over in that universe. Like, I think that would have been a very interesting take in a more, I don't want to say grounded universe, but a much more, I guess, accurate universe, or like what we would typically expect from a DC universe. So yeah, no, that's I think that's exciting. I'm glad he's involved. I'm curious how he fits into Creatures, and if it will at all blend into eventually Batman Brave and the Bold, if or any other Batman appearance going forward. I think is going to be, or even DC project going forward. So I think that's kind of interesting. Daniel Craig is in talks to star as SGT Rock in a SJT Rock film for DC Studios. This is also pretty interesting. There's been a lot of... I've been kind of vocal about, like, not a disinterest, but a slight worry with the pure amount of films they've greenlit. we had that original, what was it, like 13 projects from the get-go, and pretty regularly since then they kept greenlighting more and more. Some of them officially confirmed, and I guess this isn't even technically confirmed by like James Gunn standards, but all of these official outlets have been like, oh yes, these are happening. Like Deadline is a very respectable source from my understanding. Is it Sergeant Rock? I mean that would make sense. That would make sense for sure. I'll be honest though, this is like the first DCU project that inherently I didn't know about. I mean, I guess we've had like Creature Commandos as well, and then the Authorities are also characters that I didn't inherently know about. And I was doing a little research. I was looking into some of the backstory and stuff like that. I was like, okay, yeah, I kind of get the vibe of what they're going for, and I think what Gunn is doing, which I think is very smart, is I do think he is not only changing the landscape of what a DC movie can be. I think he's kind of changing I think he can change the representation of what a superhero movie or a comic book movie can be. Because this project, from my understanding, doesn't look like it'd be a superhero project. It'd be a war movie, to some extent. Maybe they'll bring in some sci-fi elements, because I know he kind of gets in the mix of some other heroes and some other, cosmic storylines. But I feel like this would be a more grounded super comic book movie than we would expect. And I think that's kind of cool. I think he's doing some interesting things. I think, listen, Lance hates everything. There's not a lot of things Lance loves. No, I was kidding. No, I mean, I think this is fun. And, like, I also love that they are doing, like, what... Already, I think with Creature Commandos, with the Authorities, with this, with Peacemaker also, like, what he did with Peacemaker and a lot of those Suicide Squad members, he's taking these very obscure characters that a lot of people don't know about, and hopefully makes them household names, or bringing them to the forefront. What DC, I think, has done for so much of their career, or so much of their history, is like, okay, we have these, like, same 12 to 20 characters that we love, and people know and love, your Batman and Wonder Woman and Green Lantern and Hawkgirl, all great characters, all characters I really want to see, and that would probably be even the smartest move if you focus on those guys. But what I think they're doing is that they're showing, hey, we have more characters than just the same whatever you see on your calendars or you see on the front of your comic books. We have so many characters to play with. That I don't know. I like that. And again, Daniel Craig, huge win. That's a massive list. Like, that's a massive, win to their pantheon of actors. Like, when you're looking at who are the actors in the DCU, Daniel Craig is a big one. So that's fantastic. Big Belly Burger, Peacemaker Season 2. I don't want to talk about that too much, but hey, that's cool. Green Lantern and no Peacemaker. James Gunn says multiple R-rated DC projects are being developed. Whatever rating is worthy of the story, that's what we're going to do. I love that mentality. I think that's a great mentality to have. I do want to hear your thoughts though. Like, what DC projects that are being developed, or you think that might be being developed, would you like to see as rated R? Because obviously we can swipe off Swamp Thing. We know Swamp Thing's happening. That's going to be rated R. I think it's going to be like a horror movie. That makes perfect sense to me. They do have a couple others that could kind of fall into that. I mean, Creature Commandos, I think, is kind of in a similar case. While not having that R rating, same equivalent, I imagine. Like, I imagine it's going to be a more adult-centered TV show. Maybe something along the lines of, like, Uninvincible, or maybe not as far as The Boys, but, like, something along that kind of trail path. I could see The Authorities being kind of a similar case, potentially. I could see that maybe having an R rating, potentially, although I don't think that would do them a big favor in terms of box office, because I feel like Authorities is already not a well-known franchise. Like, I feel like you should be marketing to everyone for that, but also the characters might not fit. I don't know. It's weird. Wonder Woman, potentially, I could. Here's the thing, though. I feel like Wonder Woman should be like a. Not saying you can't have R-rated elements in a Wonder Woman movie. You definitely can. Like, they can be violent at times, for sure. I do think that's one, though, you would probably want to market to everybody, though, right? Like, I think Wonder Woman. Wow, you're right, 100%. Like, story-wise, you could definitely do that. I feel like that's a movie you're gonna want to market to, like, women and girls everywhere, right? So, like I feel like that's a movie you're gonna want to take your, like, 8-year-old niece to go see, because they love Wonder Woman, and, like, Wonder Woman is such a empowering hero for everybody. But maybe even the, what's it called? The, like, Paradise Lost show we're doing, maybe you can gear that more towards the older audience, and then Wonder Woman be like a PG-13 or whatever. I don't know. We'll see. So yeah, no, I mean, I could. There's definitely. I could maybe even see. I guess Supergirl's kind of in the same case. Though. I could see Woman of Tomorrow being rated R, but I also feel like you probably want to gear that to an everybody audience as well. So that's kind of another one in that ballpark, I feel. But yeah, no, I think I'm excited, man. Like, the DCU starts in what? 2 weeks? Is it 2.5 weeks at this point? Like, we've made it. Like, that long struggling arc of having little to no DC content is over. We've reached like the end goal. So we get, obviously, Super Lois ends 2 weeks. A couple days later, Creature begins, and then I think from there we should hopefully, I mean, in 2025 we're gonna have what? Superman. I guess it's just Superman and Peacemaker within that year, but along with all the other superhero content that we're getting throughout, you know, whatever time that is, I think we're gonna get fed. I think we're gonna be fed very, very well. And with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, I think we are going to make our way to the Disney tier list. Let me answer Jeffrey's question really quick. Movies should be rated R for the DCU. I think most of their rated R stuff will be shows and games. Potentially. I can see that. I do think we're in an era now where, like, I am actually a little bit worried coming off of Deadpool and Wolverine that studios might get the wrong idea a little bit. Be like, oh, people want R-rated content. Okay, let's fire away on all these R-rated stuff. I think James Gunn has the correct mentality about it, where he's like, if the story needs to be rated R, we're gonna make it rated R. And I think, okay, perfect. I like that mentality a lot. I am curious how Disney is going to operate to that, though, because, like, this is kind of first for them. They don't really make rated R movies very much. Like, that's just not something they've ever really done. So I am curious what their response is going to be now they realize, oh, people like, you know, more R-rated stuff from us. They like something a little bit more edgier than what they're used to. Okay, like, we hear Blade is rated R, if that's ever going to come out, right? Like, will there be, like, I'd love, like, a Punisher movie under them with, like, you know, I almost said Josh Brolin. You know, like, you know, our MCU Punisher under that, I think would be kind of fun. I'm hyped for Creature Commandos. I am too. I hope it's good. I hope it's good. I hope it's good. Rated R games is kind of fun, though. What do we think we're doing with like, the games of it all? I'm wondering if they're still going to do that. Like, are they still going to try and focus on the games, or are they going to kind of let that slide? Okay, ladies and gentlemen, let's talk about some Disney movies. Now, yeah, no, we have, from my understanding, most Disney and Pixar movies on this list. Now, there's some I'm probably going to skip. Like, I think I might actually just end up skipping the, like, fun, fancy-free, or, like, the wartime era of Disney, because I've seen all of these movies, but I don't like them very much. I don't think they're very fun to talk about. So what we have here, we have S, A, B, C, D, F, and not seen. There's very few on here I've not seen, but there are, like, one or two that I haven't seen. And I want to know your guys. Oh my gosh, I was not zoomed in at all. You guys could not even see what I was talking about. Can I do that? Oh no, hold on. What's the? How do I want to do this? Do I just want to do that? Sure, we'll do that. That's fine. Okay, yeah, we're gonna start this ranking, and again, I'm very excited. I love Disney. I'm very excited to do this. And let me know as we go through these how you would rank these various different projects. Starting with the first ever Disney movie, the first ever feature-length film of all time, Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. I like Snow White. I think Snow White is, I mean, it's a classic for a reason, right? I think a lot of the love when it comes to Snow White tends to come from, I guess, it definitely has an advantage, again, of being like the first ever feature-length animated movie of all time. Definitely has that advantage for it. With that being said, it has, it's aged a little bit. Like, Snow White isn't like the most prominent, character of all time. The characters are very two-dimensional for the most part. Evil Queen wants to kill Snow White because she thinks she's prettier than her. There's a lot of things, like Prince Charming just coming in and kissing her in their sleep. Like, that obviously hasn't aged the best over the years. But I feel like I honestly really enjoy Snow White a lot more than a lot of my peers do. I think it's a movie that has so much charm and wit. I think the songs still really hold up to this day. I think the animation for a lot of it's still really good. Like, I think, genuinely probably one of the creepiest Disney movies of all time. Like, genuinely. Like, I think it's, a terrifying film. And, yeah, no, I would... And I'm curious, because I feel like this list is going to evolve as we kind of get more on the board. And I can kind of move them as we go. But we are going... Let's start off with a B. Let's start off kind of in the middle. And then we can kind of move our way up and down as we please. As we kind of go along with this. Pinocchio. I like Pinocchio. I've come around on Pinocchio actually a little bit. It's a movie I never really enjoyed growing up too much. Like, A tier for Snow White. Okay, I might end up moving it up to A tier. I think I just have to see how the rest of it kind of unfolds. Pinocchio's fine. I don't know. Like, I feel like when the live action reboot came out, I respected it more. Like, I respected the story more after the live action one came out, because I thought that was really, really bad. And it, for a story I don't really like too much, that movie took away all the charm and all the love that was put into it. Like, what makes Pinocchio great to me is all, the little tiny details that just make that movie so special. So special. That whole scene, like the opening sequence when they're in the wood shop, all the various features, the whole underwater whale sequence, I think is beautiful. I think I'm gonna put it for C for now, but again, I might end up moving Snow White to A and then him to B later on. We'll have to wait and see. Jeffrey says B. Good to know. Fantasia. This is tough, because what Fantasia ultimately is a selection of shorts, or a selection of musical features. I love the Sorcerer's Apprentice. I think Sorcerer's Apprentice bits are so good. And everything else to me is kind of boring. I'm not a huge fan of everything else. So I'm gonna put it in C. I already like Pinocchio a lot more than Fantasia though, so maybe... Honestly, Jeffrey, I think I might agree with you. I think right now I'm moving Pinocchio to B and Snow White to A. I feel like so far, the trajectory of the golden era of Disney, I think that works well. I think that works well. Okay, up next we have Dumbo. Dumbo, I think, is kind of a similar camp in Snow White, where there are, even more so in Dumbo than a lot of these other ones, a lot of very problematic things in Dumbo. A lot of things that, to me, just, don't age well with pop culture, which makes sense. It was, like, what, the 1940s? Like, things are not going to age well. That's okay. That's part of the times. That's all right. But I don't know if Dumbo has a lot of the same, for me at least, charm that, like, Snow White and Pinocchio have, for me personally. Like, there's few things in Dumbo that I'm like, oh my gosh, I love Dumbo. Like, I don't find myself doing that a lot. So I think he's going in C. Bambi. Bambi is a work of art. I think Bambi is without a doubt, one of the most beautiful Disney movies of all time. Like when I think about Bambi, I just think of all the artistry, all the animation stuff that went into that movie for so many years, and just how beautiful it is. And I love the characters, and I love these characters' arcs, and I think it's easily the best from the Disney Golden Era of movies, I think. Do we think it's an S-tier movie, though? I don't think it's an S-tier movie. I think that's been a little bit too generous, because it is a little dry at times. It's, it's a movie from the 1940s, so, it's not, like, the most exciting. I think, you know what? I think we're moving Snow White back down. I think, as we're kind of seeing the, like, transition-y of this list, I think Bambi's an A tier, Snow White B, Pinocchio B, and then Fantasia, Dumbo C. I think we're starting to find a rhythm a little bit here. I think we're starting to find, a pattern a little bit. And now we're going to the Golden Time Era. And for me, I don't like the Golden Time Era very much. I think they're all kind of the same to me in many ways. So I'm putting them all in F. I probably should have had a whole separate tier just for the wartime era. That actually would have been smart. But I think I'm just sticking them all in there for now, and then they can stay there. They can stay down there. Alrighty, moving into what I think is the Silver Era. Ooh, Jeffrey thinks Fantasia and Baby are S tier. Hell yeah, man! I love that. All right, Cinderella. Every day it's Cinderella. I like me some Cinderella, man. I feel like Cinderella is a story that in a lot of other mediums, I'm kind of sick of hearing about, or going through, because there's so many versions of it. I've seen Cinderella so many times in so many various movies and TV shows and stuff like that. But this one's a cult classic, man. Like, it's a classic for a reason, and it's like beloved for a reason. I think it is still to this day probably the best version of that story. Like, it's such a classic. I think their versions of these characters, like Cinderella and Prince Charming and stuff like that, is like, their version of like the Fairy Godmother, and like Gus is such a fun character and stuff like that, and Lucifer the cat and all these things. I think it's great. I think it's a solid B tier. I don't think it's like crazy or anything. I don't think it's crazy. Cinderella is A tier. I don't think it's crazy, but I like it quite a bit. I enjoy me some Cinderella. Alice in Wonderland. Now, Alice in Wonderland wasn't on a lot in my house growing up. Like, a lot of these were like staples in my house. Like, I'd watch them over and over. Alice in Wonderland was not. We didn't own that one a lot growing up. So I watched it like in teenage years, opposed to like when I was younger. I think Alice in Wonderland is fine. I've never been a big Alice fan in general. Like, the story has just never been my cup of tea, which is unfortunate because I think it has such a cool world. Like, I'd argue it probably has one of the most inventive. Not that Disney invented it. Obviously, it's based on the books. Most of these are based on the books, but I feel like it has one of the more inventive worlds within the Disney universe, if you will. A lot of colorful characters and things. To me, though, it's going in C. Just on my personal list. I feel like maybe that's where my hot takes start to set in a little bit. I don't love it. Like I said, yeah, Alice in Wonderland B, that's also fair. That's fair. I totally understand why people love it. I totally do. Okay. Here's where the hot takes start. I think this is my first major hot take. I don't like Peter Pan. I really don't like Peter Pan. I think Peter Pan is kind of just meh for me. I think, especially Peter Pan as a character, I think is like easily one of the most unlikable Disney characters of all time. I don't think the story in the movie is that interesting. I think Tinkerbell is also equally a very unlikable character. I think Wendy and the boys are kind of just bland to me. Like, I just have no interest in those guys, which also, similar to Alice in Wonderland, sucks because Neverland is sick. Like, Neverland as a location, like, is awesome. Captain Hook, easily the best character. Captain Hook, like that live action Peter Pan they did, which was also awful. That was that was horrendous. That should have just been a Captain Hook movie, because Captain Hook is easily the best character. It's gonna be my first D. I do not like. yeah. Like, again, like it's hot take for me. It's one of my major Disney hot takes, and I get it. I know it's a cult classic for a reason. I know it's among the other ones in terms of like popularity's sake, but yeah, nope. Peter Pan's gonna be a D for me. Lady and the Tramp, another classic. Tale as Old as Time, different movie, but still Tale as Old as Time. I don't have like a massive Peter Pan is S tier. Whoa, hell yeah, man. I mean, I respect it. I don't agree, but I get it. Like, again, it's a classic. Like, again, I also grew up on it, I guess. I've never liked it. Or at least I didn't when I got older, at least. Lady and Tramp, though, I think, I actually don't have much to say about Lady and Tramp. Like, I think it's very, like, textbook, middle of the road. Man. Do we want to give it a C, though? I feel like Lady and Tramp deserves, I think it's a B. I think it's a very solid B. I could see it going in high C, but I think I'm going to go low B for Lady and the Tramp. I think I'm going to go low B. Sleeping Beauty. I don't love Sleeping Beauty either. That's another one I don't love, and I think mainly because of the not the fairy godparents, but the fairies. I think those fairies are genuinely some of the most unlikable Disney characters you will find. They rail that movie into the ground. Like, you know, I feel like a lot of the charm you would find in this era of Disney princess with like your Snow White or whatever, or even Cinderella, is so derailed by those stupid fairies. And unrail the movie. Like, Aurora is a very boring protagonist, so is Prince Philip. Not saying that like they're that much better than Snow White, but I do feel like Snow White might just be slightly better. Maleficent, also the best character, easily. Like, I think she's very fun. Like, there's a reason why they gave her her own movie, because she's easily the best part of that movie. Like, she's like, I think the reason people remember Sleeping Beauty is Maleficent. It's that final big thing with the dragon and all these things, and how much of a presence Maleficent has within that world. Where did I put her, though? Do I put her with Peter Pan in D? I think I do. I think I'm putting her with D, because these are movies that I just don't like very much. Like, C is like, they're okay. Like they're not bad, they're not good, they're just kind of there. I think D is like, yeah, I just don't like these movies. And then F is like unwatchable to me. And then obviously not seen. We haven't gone through anything I haven't seen yet, though. S for Saving Beauty. Whoa, okay. Hot takes in the chat today, then. Hot takes. For me, not you guys. I think you probably are in like the minority of people. 101 Dalmatians. I like 101 Dalmatians a lot, actually. I like this movie a lot. I think it's such a fun story. I think 101 Dalmatians has so many charming characters. I think Cruella de Vil is such a fun, like, antagonist. Like, she is so unhinged as an antagonist. And honestly, I respect the heck out of, like, an unhinged, like, she, like, obviously a lot of the villains of this era are the same, but, like, her motivation, she was a go dogs. Like, that's the whole thing. And honestly, that's so, like, normal, I guess. Like, it's so, like, I don't know. Like, I feel like that's such a real world thing where it's a lady who's lost her mind and just wants to skin puppies for a living. Like, that's her job or whatever. I think like that Cruella de Vil song is like perfect. Like it's so good. Then like I think the animation stands up. I think it's very likable. I'm gonna give it an A. I think I'm giving 101 Dalmatians an A tier placing. Sword and the Stone. A tier for 101. Yeah. So we agree, Jeffrey. We agree. Sword in the Stone's great. I feel like Sword in the Stone doesn't have the memorable factor that a lot of these have. Like, I feel like when you look back on Sword in the Stone, well, it's a very solid movie. It's when you don't think back on a lot. I think the only reason it stayed relevant in any regard is because of Merlin is such a major character in the games and the parks and stuff like that. Like, he's been such a staple. And I think it sucks in a way, because I do think it's a lot of fun. Like, obviously, Sword in the Stone's tale as old as time. Like, it's an absolute classic story. But honestly, like, when you think of King Arthur as a thing, I feel like your brain doesn't typically go to, like, Disney's Sword in the Stone. I just feel like, and again, some of that's age, right? It's been a very long time since that movie's been released, like the 70s or whatever. But, I'm going with a B. Yeah, it's B. I think it's a low B for me, because I like it more than Dumbo and Alice in Wonderland and Fantasia, but not more than anything in B. So I think that's where it's going to go right now. Next up, we have The Jungle Book. Now, The Jungle Book, I can say with certainty, is going to be my first S-tier Disney movie. I think Jungle Book is a masterpiece. And maybe there's a little bit of bias there. Hey, that's okay. There's going to probably be as we go through this. Ooh, wait, I can shift my screen here a little bit. Hold on. Ooh, that could be fun. Yeah, Jungle Book I think is a fantastic movie. But can I move? Hold on. I'm trying to readjust this in real time, guys. Hold on. Yeah, that's better. I like that better. Sword in the Stone was a lot at my house. It's an A for me. That's fair. If, like, again, I didn't watch it a whole lot growing up. Like, I watched it sometimes, but it wasn't, like, top of my list. I think Jungle Book is, like, a perfect story. I think it's almost like a perfect, like, on my Letterboxd, I think I gave it, like, 5 stars. Like, I think it's a perfect story, start to finish. The characters are so likable. The songs are amazing. The environment that you're in, like, you feel like you're in the jungle, and you feel the real stakes and love, and, like, I think it's just a perfect movie. I love The Jungle Book. I think it's great. Same. I like The Jungle Book. Hell yeah. The Aristocats. Everybody wants to be a cat. I feel like I feel like I love the song Everybody Wants to Be a Cat. I think that's a top tier Disney song. And then the movie exists. I think, I think it's fine. I think it's a fine Disney movie. Nothing like super special in my opinion. Like, there's some fun characters. There's an okay villain. It's an okay plot. It's okay. It's pretty good. I think it's pretty good. I'm gonna put it in. I don't know if we want to go low B or high C. I'm thinking maybe low B, because I do like everything else in B. Where I think it's right next to Sword in the Stone for me, because it's like I probably like everything in B more than it, but I like Aristocats everything more in C right now. So I think it's gonna stay in low B. Scroll down. Oh no, can you guys see it? I don't think you guys can. Robin Hood is. Hold on, guys. I'm gonna try to. Honestly, hold on. Let me try something really quickly. Can I do this? Okay, perfect. Actually. So now you guys can see the whole screen. Okay, Robin Hood. Robin Hood and Little John walking through the forest. I like Robin Hood a lot. I think I think Robin Hood is kind of in a similar statement, and I guess maybe a lot of the films from like the Silver Era are starting to get like that since we're so far removed. I feel like we don't talk about Robin Hood a lot anymore. I feel like Robin Hood has kind of been like erased from the modern memory a little bit. My mom loved the Robin Hood stories. Like, she is a massive Robin Hood fan, so I feel like Robin Hood is a face that was just on a lot growing up. And, you know, it's weird because I have no grievances with this movie. Like, I think it has really fun characters. It's a fun plot. Its villains are hilariously fun. You feel the actual stakes and, like, I don't know. I feel like you really feel the effects of this movie. But it's not very memorable. I think that's the thing. I don't know though. I feel like I'm looking down my list though, and I might like Robin Hood more than everything in B. Except maybe I'm trying to think. I kind of like Cinderella more though. So you know what I think I'm gonna do? I think I'm putting Robin Hood in A, and I think I'm moving Cinderella up. I think because I might like Cinderella more than everything in B. I might like it more than everything in B. That's fun. That's fun. Okay. The Many Adventures of Winnie the Pooh. I like this. I love Winnie the Pooh, actually. I'm a massive Winnie the Pooh head. I love that guy. I have my little... I'm not going to go pull him out, but I have my little stuffed Winnie the Pooh I've had since I was, like, 1 year old. I love Winnie the Pooh. Disney, if you're watching this, make another Winnie the Pooh movie. We desperately need more Winnie the Pooh. Like, they have their, like, Poohniverse going on over in that studio. Please, Disney, take back the reins of Winnie the Pooh. I need a good Winnie the Pooh content. We get a new theatrical Winnie the Pooh movie like every 10 years, and it's getting up there. We're almost heading 10 years. So, give me another Winnie the Pooh movie. They've all been great. Yeah, I'll give it an A tier. I think it's pretty fun. I think it's fun. I think the next one is going to probably have to go in like I don't remember or haven't seen. But first one's pretty fun. I like it a lot. Disney's The Rescuers. Now, Disney's The Rescuers probably is in need of a rewatch from me, because I definitely don't have, like, the greatest memory of it, or its sequel. Like, the sequel might have to go down to I haven't seen. But I think this movie is okay. It's fine. I'm putting in C. I don't care. I'm sorry, Rescuers. I don't care about that franchise at all. I think they're bland. I think they're boring. I feel like I even have a hate for it because Down Under is considered Renaissance, and it's like what a waste. Like, what a waste of that Renaissance title. Fox and the Hound. Fox and the Hound is a classic. It's a classic. I feel like people bring up Fox and the Hound a lot. In terms of, like, when you talk about, like, best Disney movies, I feel like there's a whole set of people that think Fox and the Hound is the best Disney movie. And that's so valid. It's such a good story. It's such a good, sad little story. Breaks your heart every time. You know, it's a classic Disney romp for sure. That is getting the A tier. It's A tier. It's not perfect. I have no reasons why it's not perfect. It's just not perfect for me, or it's just like not S tier for me. But oopsies. It's good. Pretty good. Great Mouse Detective. I have seen bits and pieces of this movie, but I actually don't know if I've ever sat down and watched it start to finish. And if I have, I don't remember it the greatest. So it's going and not seen right along the Black Cauldron, which I also think is a fine movie. It is okay. I mean, like, again, I've seen bits and pieces of it. I cannot fully tell you though, like, exactly my thoughts on it. Okay, Oliver and Company. Oh, boo. Oliver and Company. I love Oliver and Company, man. It's one of the only, like, I guess, like, 2000, like, this was a 90s movie then, wasn't it? I guess I always think it's part of the Dark Age, but no, it's part of the, is that the Bronze Age? Or is it the Silver Age? Like, it's like late, like, I feel like, yeah, I feel like actually they get left in the dust a little bit, because they're, like, right before the Renaissance starts. They're right before the edge of the, like, the new era of Disney. Maybe it's just nostalgia. Maybe it's because the, what is it? Why Do You Worry? Or, Why Should I Worry? Like, I think that song's a bop. Like, you remember that movie because of that song. Is it the best Disney movie? No, but I have a lot of, like, nostalgia for it, I feel like. I think we're putting it in B. And you know what? Now I'm thinking about it more. I think I might put Aristocats in... No, Aristocats can stay in B. It's just going to be low. I think it's going to be low B. I think it's probably where that's going to go. Okay. Now this is where this list gets juicy. This is where things is going to get interesting. And can I do my thing on the screen a little bit? Ooh, this might be better. I don't know how it looks for you. Yeah, I think that's better. You can see a little bit more. We are now getting into the Renaissance era, starting with Beauty and the Beast. No, I'm sorry. I will say, guys, I am a bit tired, so that's why I'm a bit... I'm just saying weird stuff sometimes. The Little Mermaid. Man, what do I think of The Little Mermaid? Now, I think in terms of, like, importance to me, I could give Little Mermaid an S tier. I could give it that. I do love me The Little Mermaid. Does it deserve S? Because I do have my problems with The Little Mermaid. I don't know if I want to give it the S tier. I don't know if I want to be brave enough to do it. But I almost like it more than Jungle Book. Man, I think Little Mermaid, we're putting in S tier. I think we're putting it in S tier, but we will readjust. I think it might be one we have to readjust when we go back through the list. We'll have to wait and see. How's our list looking so far? Most things are kind of just getting set in the A to B tier, C tier. We only have 2 in D that we don't love too much, and then F is only filled with the wartime era, and then we have 2 I've not seen. I think we're doing pretty good so far. I think we're doing pretty good. It's been fun. Rescuers Down Under. I've seen this movie. I've checked it out. Honestly, screw this movie. I'm putting it in D. Because for one, it's so unrememberable. It doesn't even matter. And it destroys the Renaissance's, like, regard, I think, in terms of quality. Like, it really does hold down. Like especially in terms of, like, there's some movies in this era that I don't love as much as other people. But at least they're rememberable. Like we're going to talk about Pocahontas in a minute. I don't like Pocahontas. But, like, it's at least remembered as one of the greatest of all time, or at least the most iconic of all time. So, yeah, Rescuers Down Under, it can stay in D. Screw you. Beauty and the Beast. And that is Tale of Soda's time. I've been saying Tale of Soda's time the whole stream. But, yeah, Beauty and the Beast is pretty good. It was more pretty good. I think it's one of the greatest animated movies of all time. I think it's easily the best that we've come across so far in this stream. No, I love Beauty and the Beast. I think it's a perfect story, perfect characters, perfect songs, perfect environment, perfect movie. It's one of my 5-star movies. I think it's an amazing movie. And I'm already considering moving her. I'm already considering moving Little Mermaid down to A. Like, high A. Like, very high at the end A. But I'm thinking... I'm thinking so, unfortunately. Aladdin. Aladdin's an S. Yeah, it's an S tier. It's an S tier movie, man. I'm tired of pretending it's not. I feel like I have friends who are like, "Oh, Aladdin's not that good." No, it's an S tier. I'm sorry, it has to be an S tier for me. It is so good. I think Robin Williams' performance as Genie alone, I think, puts Aladdin in an S tier spot. Like, I truly do think so. And again, Little Mermaid. I hate putting Little Mermaids in A. I might have to move her back up to S. But oops. Yeah, Aladdin's an S tier. I love that movie so much. It's ingrained in my brain as like the greatest of all time for sure. Lion King. What is it? Jeffrey said in the beginning of the stream here. What did he say? I think it was like the first comment ever. Second, the best movie of all time is The Lion King, and Jeffrey, I don't know if you're still in the chat, could not agree more. Could not agree more. I think Lion King is my favorite film of all time at the moment. I don't know, could get moved eventually, but for the last like 8 years of my life, it's been my favorite movie of all time. It's a movie, you know, it's one of the Disney movies that I didn't grow up on as much as some of the, like a Hercules or a Tarzan, or even like a Brother Bear. But you know what? It somehow got there eventually. Like, I remember watching it in like what was maybe like 7th grade and being like, wait, I think this is the best movie I've ever seen. I remember being like, I think this is the best thing ever made. I think it's fantastic. It's a perfect movie from start to finish. Love me some Lion King. Someday we'll do like a... I don't know what else Lion King related I can do. Because that's the thing about Lion King. It's my favorite movie of all time. But I never have a lot to say about it. Like, it's just like... Like, it's just a great movie. Like, I feel like... And maybe that has... Maybe a lot of Disney movies are under that camp as well. Potentially. We'll see. Pocahontas. I don't love Pocahontas, man. I don't love the story of Pocahontas. I don't think it's very good. I think it's a movie that panders to its audience a little bit. I think it straight up lies to their audience a little bit. Like, I think it really likes to color up history a little bit in our favor sometimes. This is a movie, and we'll see this maybe a couple times on here, where I love the animation. I think it's a gorgeous movie. A beautiful movie. I think it has some of the best songs in Disney history. Colors of the Wind and... What is it? Around the River Bend and Savages. Like, it has some banger songs, but I don't love it very much. So it's not D, but I think it's definitely... I think it's going above Rescuers for me, but I think it's a C tier. Okay, Hunchback of Notre Dame, or Dame. I've always said Dame, but I think people pronounce it Dame. Hunchback of Notre Dame. You know what? I'm really excited to rewatch this movie. I think I need to rewatch it soon, because I remember not loving this movie, but I think the more I've thought about it over the years, the more I've kind of come around on it. I really like Fazimozo as a character. I like the unpopular opinion, I like the little stone guys. Like, I think the little stone guys are fun. I think they're a fun addition. I think the villain of this movie, I think Hellfire is one of the greatest Disney songs of all time. I think that's a masterpiece. I love Hellfire. I love Somewhere Out There. I think it has a good story. I like that, like, Fazimozo doesn't just automatically get the girl at the end. Like, I remember that being such a good ending. Like, I remember being pissed as a kid, being like, wait, Fazimozo doesn't get the girl? Like, that's the way it's supposed to go. The main character gets the girl. It's supposed to be about, like, don't judge people by the way they look. But I think that's so important, too, for kids to understand, hey, just because you're the underdog doesn't mean you get everything you want. Like, sometimes you lose, and that's okay. You can find happiness outside of just what you thought you wanted. Like, I think that's great to teach kids. So I'm gonna have to rewatch Hunchback at some point, for sure. Disney's easily Disney's darkest movie. It doesn't feel like a Disney movie at all. I'm gonna go low B. I think it's right there. Honestly, I might like it more than some of the stuff. It's not going A, is it? No. No. Well, maybe. I think I'm gonna put it like high B. I think it's a high B. It's not A for me. Honestly, more than no. I like Snow White more. I definitely like Snow White more. Ooh, Zero to Hero, Hercules. Oh, this is tough. This is a tough one. Hercules, easily one of my favorite, like so important to my youth. Like we're gonna talk about it in a second. But Hercules and Tarzan, easily the most influential films of my childhood. Like by a lot. Like they are just to me, like those two guys raised me a little bit, I think. I think Hercules has a pacing problem though, a little bit. Like as good as it is, it's kind of all over the place at times in terms of its plot and stuff like that. And I think the way it's paced is kind of a mess at times. So I'm gonna go high A. I think it's right there with Little Mermaid, where it's just like it's like reaching, like both of them are kind of reaching for the stars, and it's like they don't fully make it, but I think they're like right there. Mulan is going to be our next S tier movie. I think it's right there with, that might be my golden standard right there. Beauty and the Beast, Mulan, Lion King, and then probably one other one we'll talk about after a while. It shouldn't be that after a while, should it? Oh no, I see it. Pretty golden standard for them, I think. I think it's it's one of my favorite of all time. I think it's great. What were we talking about again? Oh, Mulan. No, I think Mulan is a perfect story. I think it was such a heel turner for them in terms of like their Disney Princess catalog of like what an empowering female character can be. Like it's not necessarily a movie about like, yeah, she finds a love interest in that movie, but that's not really what it's about. You know, it's about just being a empowering female character, and I think Mulan is one of the coolest fictional characters of all time. I think she's an icon. She's like a legend, and obviously Ming-Na Wen from Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. and Mandalorian, Boba Fett, stuff like that. I love Mulan. I love Mushu. I love their father. Oh my gosh! Like what's the line where it's like, the only of a I forget what it's like. The only honor. It's like the only honor I is having you for a daughter or something. It's like it makes me cry every time I watch it. It's so good. It's in my favorite movies list. Like it's in like my top 10 favorite movies, along with like Lion King and stuff. So, and one other Disney movie we'll get to later. Tarzan. Tarzan's pretty great, guys. Tarzan's pretty great. I don't think it's S tier for me. Like I just talked about it, same with Hercules. It's one of the most influential. I don't think it's like perfect or anything, but I think it's really, really good. It's like very high on my list in terms of my favorite of favorites. I think I'm basing this on all around quality and favorites. Like I'm not just basing this off of my favorite, because I think my top 5 favorites, it would probably feature Hercules and Tarzan. But I'm doing like a very general list, I think. Fantasia 2000. I mean, I ranked first Fantasia pretty low, and Fantasia 2000 I think is like, I think it's worse than the first one is, and that's saying something. Like, I don't know. I kind of feel like they kind of, I don't know, it's just kind of there. I think it's kind of there most of the time. It's fine. Like the original at least has, Sorcerer's Mickey, like the Sorcerer's Apprentice, and like, it's fine. I mean, again, maybe I need to rewatch it. Like some of these, it's been many years since I've seen them, so that might affect my list a little bit. But water break. Okay, dinosaurs. Haven't seen dinosaurs. One of the rare ones I haven't seen. Like, with Black Cauldron, with the Great Master Detectives, I've seen bits of them. Like, I've had them on various times in my life, and I just don't remember them very well. Dinosaurs, I've just never seen. I've just never seen it. It's never been on it. I've never had an option to see it. Okay, Emperor's New Groove. This is another one where very recently, within the last 5 years, I have fallen in love with the Emperor's New Groove. I'm trying to find them. I got my little Kronk Funko Pop right here. I love me some Emperor's New Groove. I probably should have put out some Disney Funkos, actually. That's probably what I should have done. I have a bunch. I could have. Here's my Ursula one. But, no, I fall in love with Emperor's New Groove. I think it's genuinely, without a doubt, the funniest Disney movie ever made. I think it's the funniest... No, not even Disney movie. I think it's the funniest movie I've ever seen. I cannot tell you. It might be the most quotable movie of all time. Like, every other word that Kronk says is just so quotably funny to me. And while maybe not as, like, iconic as the other ones on this list, I think it's, like, such a different kind of movie. Like, it is a full-on comedy, where I feel like most of the Disney pantheon are, like, action-adventure romance first. Where, like, no, this is a comedy film. Like forefront a comedy. And it's so good. The world they live in is so funny. The characters are so... funny. The plot is great. It's so inventive. That final big fight scene with Yzma, where like they're transforming to the different things, is one of the sickest like final battles of a movie I've ever seen. I love Emperor's New Groove. I love Kronk. I love Yzma. I love Poncho. I love Kuzco. Like, I love these guys. They're so funny. It's a great movie. Just in love with that movie. Atlantis. I've seen Atlantis a couple times. It's never stuck with me. I'll be honest. It's so, like... It and Treasure Planet kind of go into the category of, like, most underrated Disney movies. And I think that's for a reason. I don't think it's very memorable, to be honest. I don't think... And again, this is blasphemy for people who love it. I've never really got the hype, and I'm going to have to rewatch it soon, I imagine. I imagine it's one I should probably replay soon. It's fine. Put top of C. I like it more than everything in C right now. Probably. Well, I don't know. I feel like Dumbo has like a... Let's put it right here. I feel like, I don't know, those three at least have like an iconic factor to it. Like, it genuinely feels like a disrespect to put like it above like Alice in Wonderland and Dumbo, just based on how iconic they are. Kind of crazy. Lilo and Stitch. Lilo and Stitch getting a live action adaptation next year. Which is, I'm pretty excited for that, I guess. You know what? I think Lilo and Stitch is another one. Like, I'm a 2000s kid, so like I was a 2000s kid, so like Treasure Planet, Lilo and Stitch, Atlantis, Chicken Little, Home and Rain, Bolt, those should have been the main things in my household. They weren't. Because we had our giant collection of like 90s movies. Like 80s and 90s movies were the main stuff I was watching, because that's just what we had at the time. Like, these movies were just so new. We just didn't get them that much. Lilo and Stitch came out the same year I was born. Same thing with Treasure Planet. And I feel like it's another one I've kind of got into now that I'm, like, older. Like, now that I'm a bit older now I've got into it a bit more. That's a great story. Like, I love Lilo. I love Stitch. I love the Hawaiian, like, atmosphere. I think it has one of the coolest worlds in all of Disney. Genuinely. Like, with this new live action one, I was like, franchise it out of it. There's so much you can do in the world of Lilo and Stitch if you choose to. And I know they did a little bit in, like the TV show and some of the, like, straight-to-DVD sequels and stuff. But they should do that again, I feel. I feel it. Where on my list do I want to put you? I think I might move A around a little bit, actually. Give me a minute. I think, and I hate to do it, I think Fox and the Hound is going to be, I think Winnie the Pooh is going to be, I think Robin Hood's also going to be. And maybe that means we move some things down to C in a little bit. Like, I'm thinking maybe Aristocats is also a C. I'm thinking Sword in the Stone is potentially a C. And let's keep it a B for now, but some of these I'm tempted. We'll see. Okay. Oh yeah, and Lilo and Stitch. Yeah, I feel like he fits in more well here. Like I'm vibing with my A's a little bit. I'm vibing with the A list a bit here. Yeah, I think that's why I hated putting some of these in A, because I was seeing them next to, like, you know, Winnie the Pooh and Robin Hood and Fox and the Hound, which are great movies, by the way. I'm not trying to doubt that. In fact, actually, Fox and the Hound I think might get moved back up. I think Fox and the Hound might get moved back up. Treasure Planet. I just watched Treasure Planet for the first time, or not the first time, but like I rewatched it for the first time in like since I was like 5 or whatever. Like I didn't really remember it. It's okay. You know, it's fine. I feel like it's a very rushed movie. I said this, I think it could have really benefited from like 30 extra minutes. I think it could, you know, it's such a snappy movie. It needed room to, I think, do all of its storylines justice. And do all the things it needed to do properly, I felt like. And, a lot of great ideas, a great world, too fast, too pacey, needed better pacing. I'm gonna give it a... Yeah, I'm thinking about moving some other stuff around too, because I'm feeling like some of these could probably be... I'm thinking maybe Pocahontas is made... We'll, like, redo it at the end, actually. Once I place it, going forward, I'm not going to move it all again. Because I don't want to... We still have quite a lot to go through, and we're heading towards hour-and-a-half mark. We'll redo it at the end. I'm thinking Treasure Planet. Maybe we will. I don't know. Thinking like a C. Move Pocahontas down. Fine, move Rescuers down too, but I don't hate Rescuers. I just think it's fine. Yeah, I'm really liking the look of this list a lot better. I'm vibing with it a lot more, I think. Okay, Brother Bear. I did grow up on Brother Bear. One of the rare 2000 movies I like actually grew up on. And we're officially also in the what I think they consider the dark era, or the the bronze era of Disney. Brother Bear. Brother Bear is pretty fun. I grew up on it. I have a lot of nostalgia for this movie. I quote this movie a lot. I'd be curious if I rewatched it, if I would still love it as much, or if it is one like that maybe isn't the best retrospectively, but I think I remember really loving the story. I remember like thinking it was very heartwarming and fun, while maybe not one of their best. Thinking it's pretty good, right? What are we thinking though? Like in terms of ranking, I don't know if it's on the level of anything in A right now. But maybe an A tier? Is it an A tier or a low B or high? It's either a high A or low... Sorry. It's either high B or low A. I'm going to go high B right now, but again, we might move it. Okay, ladies and gentlemen. We are about to go for 1-to-1 F tier, bottom tier Disney movies. Genuinely some of my least favorite films of all time. Home on the Range and Chicken Little. I hate these movies with all my heart and soul. I think they're horrendous. I think they're awful. I think they're despicable. I hate them. I hate them so very much. They're so frustrating and irritating, and the characters suck, and the story's bland, and Chicken Little's father, one of the worst fathers in human history, like chicken history. Like I never gonna rewatch these movies. They're awful. They're terrible. F tier all around. I don't think there's gonna be many people that. Honestly, though, people are blinded by the nostalgia of Chicken Little. Like, if the same people who claim to love Chicken Little, if that movie came out today for the first time they watched it, they'd be like, yeah, this is awful. This thing's terrible. They're blinded by their nostalgia. They're blinded by it, I fear. Simply true. Meet the Robinsons. I don't know. I don't love Meet the Rob. I won't say that. I think it's fine. I think it's you know what? Never seen a better bee in my life. It is, well, no, it's fine. It's fun. It's a fun little movie. I don't have a great love for it. I didn't grow up on it. I saw it like once when I was real little, once a couple years later, but besides that, man, I did not have a real affinity for that movie. Like, it's fine. It's good. It's good. It has a good story. It has a good characters. It's a creative world. I have no issue with it. It's a great beat. I don't have a history with it. Ending off the Dark Era. Bolt's kind of. I've seen Bolt once. I need to do a rewatch of Bolt. I could almost put it in not seen, but I have seen it. I have a very vivid memory of watching it and thinking like that kind of sucked, or just like thinking that was kind of okay, I guess. It's I hate doing that. Again, that might just be my, like, maybe in like 5 years we'll like revisit this with all new movies and stuff, and I'll be like, wait, why did I put Bolt so low? Oh man. Oh man. Okay, we're in the what is technically still the current era of Disney, the revival era, starting with Princess and the Frog. And Princess and the Frog, if I'm not mistaken, is also the last 2D animated Disney movie. Unless you count Wish. Oh, guys, my voice is starting to go. I've been talking for an hour straight. Hold on. Okay. Talking by myself for an hour straight. That, for someone else, that's totally fine. But by myself, man, sometimes it's not great. Princess and the Frog. Okay. At 8 tier. I think it's like, I don't know where in 8 tier. Probably like right. I think it's better than Hercules. Probably. I think it's right next to Little Mermaid. I think that's probably one of Disney's best to offer. It's not quite S tier for me, but like I love Tiana and Naveen, and I love their friends, and I love the environment of the world. I think it has some fantastic songs. I definitely get the criticism from many people, though, where it's like, well, the only black princess turned to a frog halfway through the movie. Like, I can definitely very much understand that criticism from many, but I like this movie. It could have been put together maybe slightly better, perhaps, but it's so much fun. It's such a blast. It's, again, a very core part of my childhood. Like, I watched it, I think I saw it in theaters. I think it was one of the few of this era. I guess I can't say that. I've seen a couple in theaters, I guess, but it's great. I'm waiting, Disney, if you're watching, which you totally are. I know the one viewer that's watching the stream is Disney itself. It's Walt Disney from the grave. Give me my Tiana. Where is my Tiana series that you promised me like 5 years ago? I'm waiting. I'm sitting here. I'm waiting. I'm ready for it. Tangled. I love me some Tangled. I think Tangled is one of the best. I guess I can't say modern Disney movies anymore, because this came out 14 years ago, almost 15 years ago. Holy shit. That can't be right? I can't be that old. I'm not old, but like I can't. There's no way, right? My math is wrong, right? It might be right. Oh my gosh. Yeah, it came out 2010. Holy shit. Okay, Tangled. S tier. Great story. Fantastic villain. Fantastic songs. Fantastic narrative. Fantastic world. Some of the best Disney characters you're ever gonna find. It's a perfect movie. Perfect movie, Tangled. I love it. I need to watch Tangled the series. I hear it's fantastic. It's fantastic. Many Adventures of Winnie the Pooh. I'll be honest, I don't remember this one. I've seen it many times, but I keep getting them confused on which one's which. So I'm gonna keep that in. Where did I put it? Oh yeah, no, I haven't seen. We're gonna wreck this ranking next because we got Wreck-It Ralph. Wreck-It Ralph, the first one. You know what? When this first came out, I kind of thought it was overrated a little bit. Like I feel like I didn't love it as much when it first released. But you know what? It has really become a cult classic. What, this came out 2012? I saw this thing in theaters. This became a classic. Ralph and Vanellope and Fix-It Felix and all these characters are so iconic at this point. They've left such a legacy. It's going A tier, I think. I think maybe like right above Fox and the Hound. Right above Fox and the Hound. Right around, I think below Lilo and Stitch though. Well, I feel like let's pull Cinderella toward the end of A tier a little bit. I don't know. Cinderella could probably get moved down to B, probably should be, but I don't know. I like me some Cinderella. I don't know. Okay, here's the big one. Oh boy, Frozen. It's been what 12 years since this one came out, which is also crazy. Like I remember being in the hospital watching the trailer for this movie, being like, oh man, I can't wait for this thing to come out. Since this released, we've gotten Frozen 2 and many shorts, and we're in the works of getting Frozen 3 and 4. So if I am someday rewatching this, which I hope I'm not, because it's probably very cringe. I'm probably very cringe at this point. But Frozen, what do we feel about Frozen? I don't think it's S tier for me. As much as I love it, I don't know if I'll give it an S tier slightly. But I think it's high A. I think it really changed the narrative for Disney. It changed the landscape for them. Like I love the characters on it. Elsa, Kristoff, Sven, Olaf. Like I love all those guys so much. It's such a fun story that changes the status quo for Disney. I think it's right there with, honestly, I might be top of A. I think it might be top of A in terms of like what it does. Like it's, again, I can't put it in S, but it's like it's right there. It's really, 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 really good. Big Hero 6. Same thing. I think it's around there. I think it's like around here-ish. I think it's a really, really good story. I think, it's fun characters, it's a fun world. I love superheroes. It's technically connected with Marvel and stuff like that. It's trauma with like how it deals with Hero's trauma and, him losing his brother and stuff like that. I think that's fantastic. It's just that villain that drags it down. Like, I could probably be willing to put it in S tier if it wasn't for the villain. Where did I put it again? Oh, here. Yeah, something like that. Hey, well, first one to get a second list. I have to move it down. Well, no, it's fine. It's fine. Zootopia. Yeah, I don't love it as much as everything else in S for me right now. But I do think it's one of the best. Like, I don't love it as much as everything else in S at the moment. But I don't have a single issue with that movie. Like, I think it's a really, really, really good movie that deals with some very, very deep subject matter that Disney has not braved before. It's such a fun and creative world that they've invented for themselves. And, like, I don't know, man. It's gonna get S tier. I don't have a single problem with it. I think it's great. It genuinely is a great movie. Moana is another one of my favorite Disney movies. Obviously, we're doing this for the celebration of Moana 2 next month, or next week. We're right around the corner for it, and I'm very excited, obviously. And I this one might just be a pure one for me though, because like I get so much euphoria when I rewatch Moana. I truly do. I think it's such a fun movie, and the songs are amazing, and the way they do all these various different things are so cool. Like, I love watching it. I love the characters. I love Maui. I love Tamatoa and all these things. It's one of my favorite movies. I think it's great. I think I'm getting a little slurry with my words. I'm getting really tired. So honestly, I think we might stop at Wish. I think we're going to do these next couple, and then we'll save Pixar for another day. I think is what we're going to do. Okay, we are now up to Ralph Breaks the Internet. I've been known to defend Ralph Breaks the Internet. I've been known to defend this one a little bit. I think it's better than people give it credit for. Do I think it's great? Nope. I don't think it's great. I don't think it's incredible by any means. I think it's fun. I think it's a fun little time. It's a fun little thing. I think it's going like top of C for me. Passable movie, not bad. Fun moments, fun characters. I love. You know what? Screw it. It doesn't deserve to be next to some of these. Give it low B. I'm giving you Ralph, I'm giving you a low B. I can't believe it. But honestly, man, you deserve it. You freaking deserve it, man. Kind of. I don't know. You can tell I'm getting a bit loopy and silly. Okay. Frozen 2. And man, I will say these last 5 years for Disney, it's been kind of a rough one. Like, I know I gave Ralph a B. But, there hasn't been a lot of bangers in the last couple, unfortunately. And, we've had COVID. We've had, some strikes and some weird stuff. But Frozen 2, man, when that trailer first came out, when that trailer for Frozen 2 first came out, it was unlike anything. Like, I remember being so floored with how amazing that movie looked. And I think very similar. What else do we compare it to? Pocahontas. It's very comparable to Pocahontas, where I think the animation is flawless. I think the songs are beautiful, but the story is just weird. It's a weird one for sure. It is just kind of a wild. It's again, it's fine. It's it's okay. Like, there's some really fun character moments. There's some cool things they do with various different things. Where do I want to put it? I think I'm gonna have to put it in C. I think it's gonna have to probably be top of C, because there's some good stuff in there. And you know what? Now that I'm kind of thinking about it, I'm thinking Ralph. I'm thinking Ralph's gonna be there as well. I know I gave him the B, but now that Frozen 2's here, I was like, yeah, I think this is like it's okay. It's like, it's pretty alright. And maybe some other thing. Is there anything in B I want to move there? I don't think so. Again, we'll re-examine the list in a minute. All right, Raya and the last Dragon. I love me some Raya. You know what? I apologize. Raya's okay as well. You know what? I think I willed myself to love Raya in the theater more than I thought I did, because it was one of my first movies back. like my parents drove me to a separate location far away because all the other theaters were closed in theaters, and I really wanted to see this on the big screen, and I did, and it was pretty fun. I think it's a pretty fun movie. I think it's like, it really is like a mosh posh of a bunch of different Disney movies over the last couple years, or like its history, and I think some of it's very good, some of it doesn't fully flesh out in the best ways, I thought. I think it would have worked better as a movie. Or I'm sorry, as like a TV show. Like I said that, like I think like if this was like a high budget Disney Plus show, I actually think it would have been better. I think it's like pretty good. Not great though. I feel like it's going to have to be a B tier. It's a B tier movie for me. Probably top of B though. Like I think it's probably like maybe right before. Yeah, I think Brother. Let's wait to move it. We have 3 more here, and then we can move anything we want around. Encanto. Man, do we want Encanto S tier? I don't think we're. I really love Encanto. I really, really love Encanto. I don't think I'm putting it in S tier though. As much as I love it, I think it's going among the goats of like I think Frozen, Little Mermaid, Princess and the Frog, and Encanto are like those like they're really good. Maybe not like slightly under the S tier, but they're still really good. Really good stuff. Strange Worlds. Man, what a doll movie. What a doll movie, man. I'm so sorry. I think the last one will also probably go there, but it's going in the D. It's not F tier by any means. I think there's such a large, to the point, I'll put it like top of D. Because I think it's, well, actually, hold up. Because I do like it more than everything else in D. Which I know is like blasphemy. Oh my gosh, I know I'm like getting roasted, and that's okay. But I like it more than Peter Pan. Oh, hello, Michael. How's it going? Sorry. Just so focused on this tier list. How are you? How's it going? When did you send that? 7:21. Oh, just like 1 minute ago. Hello. Hello, Michael Prophet. Hope you're doing well. I am good, thank you. We're having fun on this Disney tier list. Honestly, though, I said I wasn't going to do Pixar, but now I'm kind of wanting to. I don't know. Should we, guys? We're almost 2 hours in. Do we want to commit to doing Pixar? We might commit, because we are tired. But honestly, we might just commit to it at this point. What were you talking about? Oh, Strange New Worlds. Okay, yeah, no. I think, yeah, no, I don't know, though. Because is it that much better than Frozen 2 and Ralph? Or that much worse? And Dumbo? I don't know. I don't think it deserves it deserves D tier. I think I'm gonna put it in like, man, this is the hardest one yet. Hard day at work. I feel that, man. I feel that. Today was our first big snow here. I don't know like where you guys are. It's our first big snow here, and I don't know. I'm not used to it yet. I don't think it deserves C though. I don't know. I'm sorry. I think we're gonna commit to top of D, and then maybe move it at the end. We'll see. Okay, the last Disney one, the last proper Disney one here, and that is Wish. Yeah, I think we're gonna commit it to D. I think both are D's for me. They're not F tiers. They're not like the worst things you've ever seen. Oh man, though. I feel bad for some of these, because like these are movies I don't like, and I guess both fit in the movies I don't like. So yeah, no. C's are like I like these, but not a lot. I feel like. So yeah, D I think works for both of those. Almost had a fight at work. Oh no, man, I'm so sorry. I hope you're okay. Did you win? That's probably not appropriate to ask. I'm sorry. Oh, almost had a fight at work. Almost. So I hope you're safe, man. I hope you're doing okay. And let me know if you have a favorite Disney movie, or like where do you put some of these movies if you want to join in the fun, or just kind of get your mind off what seems to be a really tough day. Do we want to continue to Pixar? I kind of do. I kind of just want to commit. There's not that many Pixar movies comparatively to Disney, so let's just do Pixar, because I am curious where they'll fit in my grand list. Okay, the first ever Toy Story, the first Toy Story movie, man. I love me some Toy Story. This is the first in what is like one of the greatest film franchises of all time. Easily, one of the most iconic film franchises of all time. I am in the minority that think like Toy Story, like the first one, as it's good, I prefer 2 and 3 over the first one. With that being said, I would still put the first Toy Story in an A tier spot. I think it's pretty good. It's an American classic for a reason. But I almost think they improve upon what is already established in that first Toy Story movie, which is why it's A. And yeah, I guess we'll see where the other ones rank here very shortly. A Bug's Life. A Bug's Life is pretty good, in my opinion. I don't have the love for it that I have for a lot of Pixar, and I feel like that's going to be a theme as we kind of go through a lot of these, where it's like Pixar has such a standard that they've set in motion for themselves. So like if they ever don't quite if they don't quite pass what you remember to be the standard, for which for them is like top tier S tier content, they definitely fall under a little bit. So I think Bug's Life would be what are we thinking with this one? Oh, I think it's B. I think it's a very strong B. Okay. Man, was this a mistake? I don't know. I am tired. Toy Story 2. Toy Story 2 is an S tier. It is another S tier movie. I think it's my second favorite within the... Maybe this was a mistake, because I feel like most of Pixar is going to end up in the S tier. I think it's going to over-dominate the S tier category a little bit. But no, I think Toy Story 2 is a perfect movie. I think it does everything a sequel needs to do. I think it expands on the world. It does new and creative things. It expands on the characters and the arcs that were already established. I think Stinky Pete is such a fantastic villain. And I think Woody's arc of abandonment and the feeling of not being wanted anymore, which is obviously his arc throughout the trilogy and stuff like that. But I feel like the idea of learning his past and his show getting canceled, and the idea of irrelevancy within a toy world, I think is fascinating. Gotcha. You said your favorite's Lion King. Lion King is also my favorite, so we definitely agree on that one. But yeah, man, I hope everything at work goes well. I hope you can smooth all of that out in all the ways you can. I know it's tough out there, man. It can be tough. Monster Inc. is also, I feel like, man, we're about to fill out this S tier. I'm so sorry. Monster Inc. also an S tier movie. I love that world. I love those characters. I love one of the most... I can't really say it's the most... No, you know what? I'll say. I do think it's one of the most inventive Pixar worlds. Pixar does a really good job at creating these different worlds, and I feel like there's no... they quite literally created a different world. An entire new universe that they inhabited. Where it's WALL-E and Up and, Nemo and Incredibles and Toy Story, they all just inhabit our worlds and the different factions of it. And I think Cars and Monsters Inc. kind of had to create their own thing, which I think is so cool. And you just want to live in those worlds a little bit. You really do. Mike's journey with Boo is just fantastic. You're not gonna find much better animated movies than Monsters Inc. I feel. I think Finding Nemo is in a very similar situation, the way it... I love water stuff, man. Like, maybe that's why Moana is also so high on my list, but, like, I think like, it's so cool to, like, explore the ocean. I feel like there's so little media that actually gets to explore it. Like, I like both Little Mermaid and Luca, which we'll come to at some point. Really do, like, they really, like, they're in the water, and then they go to the real world. And I'm like, no, can we stay in the water, actually? Like, the water is so much fun. Like, I like exploring the water areas of it. There's so much to explore, and Nemo does. Like, they definitely, yeah, I don't know. That's stuff for sure. Okay, The Incredibles. S tier movie, through and through. I mean, if we're doing this stuff in order, like, it's probably my second or third favorite on this list. Like, it's probably right next to Lion King for me in terms of, like, my favorite of all time. It's one of the greatest man movies. I think it's one of the best anime movies of all time. I think it's one of the best superhero movies of all time. I think it's not a kids movie, right? Like, you know, we talk a lot about kids movies on here. Like, oh, what's a kids movie? What's not? It's not a kids movie. It's a movie about divorce. It's a movie about cheating. It's a movie about mass murder. Like, it's such a deep movie, and I still think it's, like, in an era that's doing so much, like, superhero stuff, nothing has beat it yet. Like, it really is crazy. Yeah, The Incredibles is 20 years old. That is wild. I'm 22 at the moment. So I was 2 when this movie came out, and, like, it was definitely a staple in my childhood, or, like, a staple going on. And I'm excited for 3 as well. I'm very excited for Incredibles 3. I hope it's better than 2. And I was about to get my thoughts on 2, but I guess it's already on here. So I guess we'll get there when we get there. Cars. Cars I get a lot of flack on. I don't like Cars very much. I know it's a classic at this point. I have a lot of, like, nostalgia for Cars as well. Like, I have very vivid memory of, like, you know, getting a lot of those toys growing up, and, like, I have a vivid memory of getting, like, the Cars DVD and, like, a Go Diego Go DVD at, like, age, like, I don't know, 4 or whatever it is. Like, it's so, like, ingrained in my brain. I think the first Cars is okay. Man, I can't put it any lower than B. I think it's, like, a very low B to me. Yeah, no, I think that works, because it's in, like, the same company as, like a Bug's Life and a Meet the Robinsons, where it's like, I like it. I don't love it. It was their anniversary last Tuesday, November 5th. It absolutely was. Happy birthday, Incredibles. Happy birthday. Absolutely. Ratatouille. Another Disney classic. Again, we're in, like, the peak Pixar at the moment. Like, we're starting to wrap up peak Pixar, I guess. But, like, oh my gosh. Like, such a legend that Ratatouille is. Where do we put it, though? I don't love it. It's not S tier. Many would put it in S tier. It's not an S tier movie. I guess it's, like, a low A tier for me. I don't like it as much as a lot of things in S. Like, it's very much lower on that branch for me. But I think it's, like, I love how it, like, I do think it's a movie that celebrates art in a weird way, and just, like, the way it's animated, and, like, the way they treat food. Like, Remy, like, Ratatouille makes me wish I liked food as much as this movie shows off. Like, I feel like I'm never going to enjoy food as much as the people in this movie enjoy food, if that makes any sense at all. I don't know if that makes any sense, but, like, I love the way it's done. Not my favorite Pixar, but it's maybe top 10, top 12. It's very artistic. Artistic is, I think, it might be the most artsy Pixar movie, if we're being honest. Just the way it's made. Like, it's very artsy, for sure. For sure. WALL-E. Another staple of my childhood. I love me some WALL-E. I also remember getting a WALL-E DVD for Christmas one year, and then leaving it somewhere. Like, I think someone rented it to somebody or lent it to someone. I never saw it again. WALL-E's good. It's not S tier. I think it's it's in the same boat as Ratatouille, where it's like, it's really, really good, Maybe not as much as a couple other Pixar movies for me, but it's still such a fantastic story. And again, its world is so fascinating. Just what happens when the world gets left behind and stuff like that. And I do feel like, have fun. I do feel like, what do I want to say? I feel like we're getting kind of close to a real world WALL-E at this point. I feel like with artificial intelligence becoming more, and you have more TikTok-y type things that are doing things for us. A lot of those TikTok shop things are about how to make people more lazy, and this is coming from someone who's sometimes a bit lazy. I'm not trying to bash on the human whatever, but it's becoming more of reality every day, I feel like. Not to get all woke or whatever, but yeah, I don't know. I love WALL-E though. It's a fantastic movie. Honestly, though, you know what? No. WALL-E can go in S tier. WALL-E can go in. I think WALL-E's an S tier movie. I'm sorry. Well, yeah, WALL-E's S. Does it go in B? No, I like Up, man. Up's got a bad rap. Up has got a bad rap over these last several years, I fear. Up, I feel doesn't there is a movement that's oh no, the first couple minutes of Up are S tier, and then the rest is kind of C tier. And while the first 10-20 minutes are the best of the movie, I really enjoyed the rest of Up. I'm trying to look maybe I would agree. I'm trying to think if maybe I would agree if it was a B, but I like it more than Brother Bear. I like it more than Raya, Robin Hood, Snow White, Hunchback. All these movies. So yeah, Up's A tier. Up is a good movie. Up's good, very creative. Not the best Pixar, but it's pretty good. I think Toy Story 3 is the best Pixar, or the best, probably second best Pixar actually. But it's the best Toy Story movie in my opinion. I think it's a really, really good Toy Story movie. It's a movie I think that does a lot of really fun stuff with these characters. Having a jailbreak Toy Story-esque movie is so much fun. I think the stakes are there. I think the way it tells these character stories are so good. And then I think obviously one of the greatest film endings of all time. Genuinely just so unbelievably good. And then I think I just again, there's nothing I can say that I think are going to put me on the map in terms of my opinions on Toy Story 3. But yeah, it's a great movie. Lotso, one of the best Pixar villains, no debate. Toy Story 3 is great. Boy, I kind of rhymed there. No debate. Great. Cars 2, one of the worst Pixar movies by far. Oh boy. Let's go down here. I don't know. Where do we want to put Cars 2? And here's the issue about Cars 2 that I have. I have a lot of nostalgia for Cars 2, if I'm gonna be honest. I don't hate it. I think Cars 2, and we're going back to the Pixar thing. Cars 2 is pretty not great. It's not great, but I don't think it's bad either. I don't think Cars 2 does anything unwatchably bad. It's just in comparison. Oop, Toy Story 3 will be turning 15. Oh hell! Oh my gosh, that's crazy. I think I saw it on my 10th birthday. I'm pretty sure. So that's crazy. But yeah, I don't think it's bad. I think it's just comparatively to every other Pixar movie, it's easily one of the worst. But it's not my least favorite. I think I maybe have one or two I put below it. I'm thinking maybe I don't listen. I think I like it more than everything in D at the moment. I'm thinking C. And then maybe we raise up a couple of these. I think maybe we put a couple of these that are in C, potentially to B. We'll see. Brave. Brave is a mixed bag for me as well. Brave is a movie that I think has a lot of great elements, but not a really great, I don't know, I feel like it kind of falls apart a little bit. Like, I kind of feel like the bear subplot kind of, like, changes the narrative a little bit. Like, it feels like it's a movie that's going in one direction, and then I think once they take the step into cosmic a little bit, it kind of goes off the end a little bit. And I don't know if the two parts of the movie, like the first half and the back half, complement each other very well, unfortunately. It's not F tier. It's definitely not F tier. And I'm looking at my list here, and I think it's gonna be a C. I think it's with Cars 2 a little bit. And again, there's a couple of these I think we might be moving up to B. I think a couple of these we're moving up to B. A lot in C I'm thinking might be getting moved up to B. Monsters University. Probably the most underrated Pixar movie, or at least the most underrated sequel, I think, to a Pixar movie. Like, I feel like there's a lot of, like, we are now in, starting with Cars 2, we entered the sequel era for Pixar that goes on until, like, what, 2018, I'd say probably 2019, probably. Man, Monsters U, I think it's genuinely a really good movie. Like, not even asterisks for sequels. I think it's a good movie. I think having a Pixar movie set in, like, the university style is a lot of fun. I think, like, the grand tournament's a lot of fun. I think they do a lot of cool things, like setting up the lore of this universe and, like, the various things put in place for it. I think it's good. Not even asterisks, like, you know, whatever. I think it's a good movie. I'm giving it A. I think it's up there with Up and Ratatouille and the first Toy Story, which, blasphemy, I know, but crazy. Inside Out, the first Inside Out movie, is going in S tier. I think especially with the release of Inside Out, like the second Inside Out, I saw Inside Out in a drive-in. I'm trying to think. It was paired with, that was 2015. I paired it with, it was Inside Out and then the Minions movie, which, an interesting combo for sure. Definitely two very different quality of film. I think what that movie does is fantastic. I think what they do with the emotion of what a human can emote, and it's very deep themes and ideas, hit me so hard, especially on the rewatch this year when I rewatched it for the new one. I think I just underappreciated it so much as a kid, because, like, again, it's a movie that you're not going to appreciate as much at age 13 or 14 or however old I was at the time. Like, it's so good. It's so unbelievably good. It's such a fun world that they created, like, within, you know, like, within the mind and all the things you can do there. I think it's great. So, definitely an S tier for me. Finding Dory. Okay. So, yeah, this one lands on kind of, like, what you kind of think of when you remember the Disney sequels. So it's like, oh, yeah, alright. That exists, I guess. It's fine. It's fine. It's not, like, the worst movie of all time, but it's certainly not, like, good. I don't know. There's nothing really memorable or, you know, incredibly interesting about that one either. It's just, like, it's there. It's there. The Good Dinosaur. One of the most boring animated movies of all time. Genuinely one of the most disappointing movies I think I've ever watched. I remember being so mad at what they did with that movie. Just so frustrated with how they handled certain things. It's just like, it's not bad. It's just like, it's boring. They do nothing of interest at all. And that's so frustrating, because it's Pixar. And, like, you do these fantastic what-if stories, where it's like, what if the asteroid never hit the Earth? You're like, whoa, what a great concept for a movie. And they do nothing with it. Nothing with it. It's so frustrating to me. Cars 3, right on par with the first Cars, I think. It's right there. I think they're really... I honestly like Cars 3 the most. And it may just because it released at the oldest to me. And I remember being like, oh, cool. I have the box set of Cars 3. It's like a... I don't know where it is. It's like a 3-disc, Cars 3 set. I think it's pretty okay. It's not like... It's nothing insane. I think the whole Cars trilogy is just kind of like... okay, at best. Like, they're fine. They're fine. They're not bad. But they're fine. Coco, a movie I've only seen once. And of all the Pixar movies that I would consider great, I've only seen this one once. So I think for that alone, I'm going to have to give it an A. Because it is very good. It probably is S tier quality. But since I've only seen it once, and honestly, I haven't had like a great strive to see it again since 2017, 2018. And again, that should happen soon. I should do a whole Pixar rewatch at some point. It's going to an A tier. Incredibles 2. Man, at one point I would have put it in D. I think. I would have done it. I'm going to give it a... Man. Yeah, let's give it a C. I think Incredibles 2 is such a waste of the Incredibles. I think it doesn't do anything really unique or... I don't know. It's tough because I think that original Incredibles movie, again, S tier, one of the greatest movies of all time. And you're coming back after, what was it? Almost 10 years. Wasn't it 13 years or whatever it was? After the first. And you have such high expectations for what that is and what that means. And I think you didn't do anything of quality with it. It's fine. It's a fine, whatever superhero movie. It's the characters are fine, the plot's fine, the villain's kind of bad. I don't know, man. Actually, you know what? Screw it. We're putting it in D. Screw it. Fuck it. I don't think it's as bad as 2, but you know what? Screw it. I don't care. Toy Story 4. Yeah, I think this is a good B. I can't decide if I'm with the people on the Toy Story 4 hate or if I'm against it, because I feel like I'm in the middle a little bit, where it's not as bad as I think some people make it out to be, but I also don't think I don't really love it either. There's some really good stuff in there. I think the main story is actually really good. I think the main story about, self-worth and finding your own self and being brave enough to venture out on your own from what you know, I think it's good. I think all that's good. People hate on him leaving with Bo Peep. I actually don't hate that at all. I think it's, little things that bother me a little bit. I think it's just, how they treat Jessie, how they treat Buzz, how all the other toys are so obsolete in the main story. It's I continue to say I think I would have liked it more if it was called Woody, which isn't a hot take. A lot of people also say that, but yeah, I don't know. I think that's a solid placing. Onward and upward. One of my last movies I saw before the shutdown, the COVID shutdown, I remember reports on the movie, the box office coming in and being oh, it's suffering because there's this virus and people are scared and stuff like that, being it's gonna be fine, just go watch a movie or whatever. And then a couple weeks later, I don't know if this was my last one or if Birds of Prey was or something along those lines was my last one, but yeah, this is one of the last ones. Box office suffered because of it, and I'd argue this is the start of the next era. What these the original run, the next run of Pixar movies. What 2, 4, 6? Next 6 projects. I guess the COVID era, right? Would be the COVID era of Pixar projects. I liked Onward. I liked it. I didn't love it. I didn't love it. Jeez. Certainly not A. I think it's B. I think it's somewhere in B, but I like it significantly more than Toy Story. Well, yeah, B's good. B's good. I think it's like very like middle of the road Pixar. You know, I think it's a very fun story about fatherhood and, you know, what it means to be a man and, you know, all these things. It's a fun little adventure. Doesn't stick out in my mind though comparatively to other Pixar. Like I think it, but honestly though, that might be it. Is that it doesn't necessarily feel like Pixar. Like maybe if it was released there, I think again Pixar has such a standard with their movies at times where it is sometimes, you know, when you don't reach that standard or if it does change from the path a little bit, it's like, oh, you know, it definitely felt more like DreamWorks to me a little bit. That's kind of interesting. Soul. Whew. Soul is, ooh boy. I think Soul is the closest in this lineup of projects that I would consider to be, well, no, actually, I don't think I agree with that. I think to me, it's among the peak of Pixar. I think it's among Incredibles and WALL-E and Inside Out and Toy Story 3 and Monsters Inc. and Toy Story 2. Like, it's right under those projects. Honestly, yeah, I think it's among the, like, Ratatouille, Up, Monsters U, Coco line of movies where they're really, really good. Maybe not my S tier, but they're really, really good. Luca, I love Luca, man. I really love Luca. Like, my love for Luca, man, has honestly skyrocketed. It really has. Like, I watched it the first time, and I was like, that was okay. You know, like, I didn't love it the first time. And I watched it again, I liked it a little bit more. And I watched it again, I liked it a little bit, like, even more. Like, I was like, oh, I actually kind of love this movie now. And it's a movie that sometimes they'll just put on the soundtrack and be like, yeah, I like this. This is pretty good. You know, it's a simple story, but I think this, like, the simplicity to it is what makes it so special. It's such a special, wholesome, like, escape the world kind of movie. It's a movie that, what I love about it is it while it's so small scale, it feels so big to the characters within it. And it creates a world that you just want to explore, you want to live in. It's a movie that, like, you can close your eyes and you can, like, feel like you're there via how they display the community and also the music. It's a music, not like, now I associate the music with, like, water and, like, peacefulness and bliss, and I think that's really cool. Like, I really love Luca. Luca's really, really fun. It's not S tier. I'm not gonna do that. But it's A. It's A tier. It's really good. Alrighty. Turning Red. Oh boy. People hate this one. People can't stand Turning Red. I like Turning Red. It's not among my favorites, but I like it. I like Turning Red. It is B tier. It's a B tier movie. It's middle of the road. It's pretty good. It's like a pretty good movie. It's not my favorite. It's not my least favorite. It is pretty good. Not much else to say about that one. I think it's fine. Lightyear. I don't think Lightyear has anything good to say. You know what? Screw it. It's going T tier. It really doesn't have anything good to say. It's very clearly there. I don't like using the word cash grab a lot, because I think it gets used way too much. Like, oh, do you just want to make money? I was like, yeah, most people are trying to make money. So who cares? If they tell a good story, who cares? It's a movie that they thought would make a lot of money because it has a Lightyear name to it. It doesn't say anything interesting or unique. It just exists. And I think that's the worst thing a movie can be. It's just existing. It's not exciting. The characters aren't interesting. You know, it has a really fun world. What they did with the Zurg thing was so boring and weird. Like, I can't. I don't like Lightyear. I don't. And ending off strong, Elemental. And man, we're still gonna have to, like, I feel like we're gonna have to, like, rearrange some of this list. Goodness gracious. How long have we been streaming? Over 2 hours at this point. Okay. Elemental. Let's give it a B. It was a B. Very solid rom-com. I think it's a really, really fun, very fun rom-com. Fun characters, fun world that they created. Similar to Monsters Inc. and stuff, where they had to create like their whole new world. I thought was really cool. Not much to say. I hope it gets a sequel. I'd honestly love to see more of it. And then Inside Out 2, the newest Disney Pixar thing. A. It's an A tier movie. It's A. Yeah, it's A. It's really good. Not as good as the first one, or anything else in S, but I think it's among some of the greats under them for sure. And with that being said, I'm tired, man. Man, oh my gosh, that was a doozy. Maybe we should have stopped at Disney. But are there anything that we want to move or escalate or kind of move around a little bit? I'm looking at things that just don't feel like they're in the right spot. And I think Cinderella is going down to B for sure. I think some of these C's need to move a little bit. I'm gonna give them a little extra. I think Alice in Wonderland is gonna get moved to a B. Treasure Planet, Aristocats, and you know what? I think Rescuers as well. I think these are pretty okay movies. Yeah, and then I think C is like them slightly more, but still don't love these movies. Like they're you know what? Atlantis can also move up. I think Atlantis can move up. I think that's fine. For sure. Anything in B that needs moved down, though, do we think? I don't think so. I think this is pretty good. Not too many Fs, y'all. Like, it shows how much I love Disney. The, Home on the Range and Chicken Little, and then the Wartime Era is, it's my F tiers. As it kind of stands. Goodness gracious. This is fun, though. And it's nice having a visual representation of how I feel about my Disney Pixar movies. This is fun. And, I'll probably do something similar in the future. I'll probably do with someone else. Okay, what's your favorite, what's your top 3-5, what's my top 3-5 kind of thing. I'd like to do another Pixar thing at some point. Maybe a bracket could be kind of fun. With that being said, I think that's gonna do it for us. Hope everyone enjoyed the stream, people who popped in. If they enjoyed it, thank you so much. I see my hat kind of flopped around a little bit here. I had a really good time with this one. My throat's sore, so I'm going to go lay down. But next, transparency. I don't know when the next stream is I'm doing. It's going to be sometime. Next week's Thanksgiving. I'm trying to schedule between some people. I'm trying to figure out exactly what I want to do. What we're doing. I want to do a Walking Dead episode. I want to rank all the Walking Dead shows. I think that'd be really fun. And then, listen, we're at the end of the year, guys. So we have one more episode of this month, hopefully. And then 4 more episodes next month, then we're done. We're on, I guess, the final 5 episodes of 2024. That is crazy. End of the year is fun. Thank you, everybody in the chat today. Micah was in the chat. Jeffrey was in the chat. Listen, someone else was in the chat earlier today, too. One Marvel fan was in the chat, too, as well. And yeah, without further ado, I will see you guys on the flip side. Bye-bye. Bye.